Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of Fear the Walking Dead. This is a review for the penultimate episode of season 1, of course, leading up to the season 1 finale next week, and marking another week closer to the return of the actual Walking Dead. But you guys know in my review of this show last week, I was kind of harsh on it. And I'm still not very crazy about it. I don't think it's very good. It's okay, but overall I'm still not very enthused by it. But I do think this is probably one of the better episodes out of the season. I'd say out of the 5 episodes we've gotten so far. My favorite part of the episode is probably this Strand character. I just looked up the actor's name. Domingo. It seems like I've seen him somewhere before, but I'm not entirely sure. But, of course, Nick is being held at that facility in the hospital, and, Strand is this character who's locked in there with him, and he seems to be making all these deals with some of the military officers and stuff like that, and we see Douglas, the guy who had supposedly, just disappeared. His car was just there, by the fence in the previous episode. And we see that Strand, manipulates him to sort of get like a rise out of him, and he ends up getting him taken away. So we see automatically this guy's like very, very manipulative and things like that. But at the same time, he's kind of interesting too. And the performance he gives in this episode, I thought was pretty good actually. He's charismatic. And so it kind of makes you wonder if he's going to be like an antagonist type of figure, if there's going to end up being more to him. I don't know. But he kind of ends up stopping Nick from being taken away. We see him making a deal with another officer again at the end, giving away his watch and his rings and stuff like that. So, you don't really know too much about this character. I doubt we're going to find out too much more about him in one more episode. But I definitely see him going to season 2 and being more of a focus. I see him and Nick definitely being able to escape from the facility. And, as he has the key we see on the end of the episode. I'm going out of order here, but, I have basically about, 10, 20, 30, about half an hour to do this video and have it uploaded. Because, I watched the replay of the Strand, which, comes on like a little after 10 after 11. So, I'm kind of crunched for time here. But, I also did really enjoy when Travis was taken out. He finally asked to be taken to the facility where, Daniel, Mr. Salazar's wife, and, Nick were being held at. And as he was being taken around, the officer that he had been speaking to, who the one who kept calling him, mayor and stuff like that, they spotted a walker or whatever they want to call it, and, they had the shot lined up with the sniper rifle, and they had Travis come up, and, you could see that Travis wasn't going to do it, and, the guy sort of questioned him, saying, okay, do you think they're still human, and if that's the case, are we just a group of murderers? And, of course, Travis probably would think yes, but, then he wound up, aiming, but then he couldn't pull the trigger. He's just not willing to, go that far. He's not willing to let go of that part of himself at this point in the series, but I'm sure that'll come later if he does make it through this season, which I'm pretty sure he will. And that's they're planning to shock us with, a sudden, big death or something like that at the end of the finale, I don't know. But, so we know Travis is wrong at this point. We know he's going to have to change if he really wants to survive. And who knows, he may still die later in the series because of holding on to his humanity and stuff like that. But again, in his defense and to his credit, this world, both this world and, of course, the shared universe it has with the Walking Dead, they're completely unaware of, zombies and things like that. So they don't really know what happens. They don't really know where this goes or anything like that. So, he's kind of like what any reasonable person would try to, kind of think. But then again, after what he's seen, it seems like he would know that these people really can't be helped. It's a life or death type of thing. But, it is kind of odd that the military guys are just, stopping to take pot shots at random zombies and stuff like that. But again, it is, quarantine, they have to be clear and stuff, but you can tell these guys are a bunch of douchebags. except a couple of them seem a little bit more straightforward and honest and stuff like that, but they have to follow this guy's command, and yeah. Anyway, and they end up going to this building and clear it out. Travis stays outside, and it seems like quite a few of the guys end up getting wiped out by the walkers in there, including the main officer Travis had been talking to. And suddenly they drive off after that. And meanwhile, back at the house, Mr. Salazar has taken, and that guy, I forget the corporal, if he is a corporal or not, but he ends up taking him in, and attaching him to a chair, and then asking him questions about what certain things mean, like the nickname, the code name, I should say, Sorry, I'm trying to rush. And the code name Cobalt, which is actually like the name of the show that we were presented with initially before they ended up revealing the title. The title is Fear the Walking Dead, and you find out what that means. That it's basically an evac type of scenario, and that means the military would end up picking up and leaving, but they'd leave everyone behind or just kill them off and stuff like that. And same thing would happen at the facility, at the hospitals and stuff like that too. So we now know what Cobalt means, and I'm guessing that's something that's going to be happening in the finale. That's why it was made such a big deal, why they probably, had that title out before they started calling it Fear the Walking Dead. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes next week. And, of course, Mr. Salazar, sort of told his daughter that they're going to have a deal, trade over the corporal for his wife and Nick, of course. But I was really thinking when he first presented the idea, how could he really be that stupid? Do you think they're just gonna hand him over? You kidnapped a corporal, you're holding him hostage, basically. They're just gonna shoot you down. But of course, he's actually more aware than that, thankfully, and he just wanted a really violent way of getting information out of him. You can tell he's had to do things like that before. And I like the scene where he came out to talk to Madison, and he sort of started breaking down when his daughter seen it, how he had told her stories about how he wondered if she ever realized that he was the one doing it to the person and things like that. And it was actually a pretty good character moment, I think. And Mr. Salazar is probably one of the better characters we've seen so far, even though I still don't care too much about anyone. He's definitely one of the more interesting ones for sure. And Madison didn't do too much of anything in this episode besides gaze at Mr. Salazar and sit at the kitchen table, but it is what it is. And let's see. Again, I know I'm going to be forgetting quite a few things for this, but like I said, I'm kind of condensed with the amount of time I have right now. I guess something else I also did had to be Liza, Travis's ex-wife. She was at the hospital helping out the government chick. I don't know her name, I'm sorry. And she was really trying to take care of Mr. Salazar's wife, and she ends up seeing all these things, that she's seen the devil, and this is who he is, this is you, and things like that. It's kind of hard to repeat what she said, but she ends up dying, and they end up having to put her down. So Mr. Salazar is not going to find anything he wants to see once he gets there. So that was all pretty good too. And yeah. Again, I know I'm forgetting quite a few things about this episode, or not mentioning some things, but overall I think this is probably one of the better episodes of the season so far. Again, a short season, but probably one of the more enjoyable ones. And I like the addition of Domingo as, Strand, as far as we know, that's his name right now. And, I think he's probably the most interesting character on the show now, so I'm looking forward to see what him and Nick get up to next week, how they get out and stuff. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this quick video, all my stuttering and, repetitiveness and things like that, and my very, very vague and empty descriptions of what happened and stuff like that. I apologize, I know this wasn't really a great review, but, I'll enjoy the Stranger and hopefully deliver a little bit more of that one. So, hope you guys did find some enjoyment out of this video anyway, and add me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, Movie Pilot, and catch me and look for me on SpoiledDead.com. And peace.